And we're back.
All right.
And we're
So I
back.
gotta say, to subvert combat, I ended up using as many Kai points as I have used in any other fight in this entire game.
And that's the way it should be.
It's the way it should be.
That's the way
Use
it
two
should
Kai
be.
points to not fight someone.
The pronunciation of things like Kai, Ki, Chi, whatever it
Yeah,
is
it's
always baffled me.
In this particular moment, it can be pronounced as. In this moment, it could be pronounced Ki or Kai, but it's spelled like Gi, so I guess it would be pronounced Ki.
Qui points.
Because I just found out yesterday when I got my Gi that it's spelled Gi.
Well, there you go. All right.
That is
all that picture as well.
So
Anyway,
we're gonna transition
I should
to-
wear that next time and just be like, yeah, Eridu, this is what he wears. Except he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yes, Eridu has just concluded that combat. He is now alone in the back of a moving wagon with the chest. And Okrim and Eigner, by this point, the dwarves had... sorry, what?
Oh, I was making a joke. It's fine. Keep going.
Yes. So yeah, what we have is... oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm getting things brought to me. We have the dwarven captains talking as soon as the armies manage to cross the bridges. So they are now taking up residence on the sort of harbour docks sort of area. It's around here that the captain that you were speaking to before returns. And he introduces himself as Valdorn. So you now have a name for the Mohawk.
Okay.
Valdorn returns and says, "We appear to have a bit of a crisis emerging. It seems that the Tackintires are a little bit further advanced than we would have liked, and the Drow are a little slower at leaving than we would feel comfortable saying to leave their situation. The captains have decided to split our forces. A few are going to chase after Jolin. A few are going to stay and fight the Tackintires, which I understand falls within your request, Okrim Bawial."
You don't need to. You shouldn't need to fight Jolin's forces, as he should be, as was the deal. He stayed in the city. If he didn't, he broke our deal. So he should be there. If he's not, then we will need to send a retinue.
Well, we know that Jolin is very good at keeping his deals now, don't we?
Well, I don't think he had much of a choice. Because as you understand, as you've understood, I do have there is some concern about my life. And he threatened it. And he soon realized that your deal was a lot less scary than my deal. Because in your deal, he loses his life. In my deal, he and his people lose theirs. So, if he's not there, I will go with you after I take care of a couple things to grab him myself. And we can leave a contingent behind with Eigner. And I'll point to Eigner, obviously. And if he's there, then we have more forces to deal with the Tackintires.
I shall leave my men on the shores for now. The rest of them will cross the bridges back to face the eastern side with the Tackintires. Western side.
Eastern Tackintires are eastern.
Oh,
Because
I was understanding it to be opposite.
Eastern is Free Kingdoms. Western is Dwarven Kingdoms.
Correct.
Yeah.
I had flipped the map in my head.
That's fine. That's
my
why I
apologies.
kept on reiterating.
No.
That's why I kept on reiterating subtly.
Yep. We are the Eastern powers. I mean, not
Yeah.
technically we, but
Okay. The dwarves are going to send half of their forces to go and meet the attacking tires. The rest of them will wait here until they see what Jolin and his forces are doing.
Right.
Okay.
So they can either very quickly re-maneuver.
So should
Right.
should we go check and see if Jolin actually stayed where he was?
Oh, absolutely. That's our next step.
Let's go do that.
Yeah. That's absolutely the next step. That's step number 1, and then step number 2 is I get a second head.
Man, Okrim's really on one this session. he's really on one.
All I'm saying is he's a man. He is a man of the people, and he protects the people. And this day has been all about threatening the people.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You pick your way through the streets. The wind begins picking up, whipping its way around the buildings, down the hills, starting to really send a chill through to your bones. As you round the corner to the square where you previously were, and you could see Jolin on top of the roof, Jolin is no longer there, nor is Emily. The rest of the Drow troops seem to have barricaded themselves into the gatehouse and are holding it there. A few others have taken to the tops of the walls with crossbows and are pointing them down at the people. You see, lying dead on the street is one of the humans that was forming your rebellion. Holding the rest of them back is Shalax, the Red Dragonborn. And while he's using one arm to hold everyone else back, you see that his eyes are locked on these bales of hay.
Quick question. How far away is the wagon with the bales of hay? How far away is that from the gatehouse?
80 feet.
80? I don't like that. That's okay. Gosh, what a sticky little situation. Well, I'm gonna turn to Okrim and say like something along the lines of Okrim, I'm not gonna tell you I told you so. I'm not gonna tell you anything to make you feel bad, but yeah, maybe you just shouldn't trust Drow in the future. This looks like it turned into a situation that is not desirable at all.
Honestly, I was ready to die in that square. So this is a pretty up situation for me right now.
Fair enough. What do you say we do?
So remember how I was ready to die a minute ago?
Yeah.
It's going to happen again. And so...
By all means, do what you must.
I burst forth again out of it. Out of the thing, I'm gonna motion to the dwarf to come with me. The what was his name again? I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names.
Valdrin or something like that.
Valdorn.
Valdorn. I'm gonna motion with him to come with me.
He is out of eyesight.
Okay.
You've traveled a few streets away now, so you could sort of backtrack to get his attention.
No. Then I'll just go forward. Then in that case, and I'm just going to go to the gatehouse, and I'm just going to knock on the door like hard.
As you get close to the gatehouse, bolts fire from the crossbows towards you. Dexterity saving throw, please. If you're trying to dodge them at all.
I'm trying to think.
Because if you're just going to keep walking
How
towards
many
that
are
door,
coming at me?
you've got 6 coming at you.
I mean, in all honesty, no. I really want to, but I'm gonna dodge them, but in the least like realistically, I'm trying to not be actually suicidal, like for the sake of like whatever, because I would die if 6 crossbow bolts hit me. I would die in that moment. But from the cinematic, the narrative,
oh my God,
he would be basically kind of dodging out of the way.
Give me a dexterity saving throw.
So he would be like basically taking a step left in here, but it would essentially be a straight line. He would just be like 17.
17.
Yeah, I think it's 17, unless it's higher. I'm pretty sure it's 17.
Okay, really quick. While this is going on, I really want to cue.
17.
I really want to cue something up.
Yep.
While Okrim is walking forward on his fool's errand, as Eigner has seen him do many a time before, he's gonna let Okrim go on his fool's errand, and he's going to inconspicuously pull out the mysterious potion that he acquired at the very beginning of this episode, what seems like ages ago, that he identified as a potion of spider climb, and he's gonna quaff that. He's gonna quaff it. And does he feel, what kind of sensation does he feel? Does he feel like a spider?
Give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I have proficiency on this one, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check my number.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you should. You're a fighter, you should.
Okay, I have a 22.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm so constitution-y.
As you down it, you feel it almost climb down your throat.
Mm-hmm. Like a little spider legs.
Yeah. You then, for the briefest of moments, black out, and you lose your footing.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. We're just going to pause Okrim and Eridu for a little bit here.
Okrim and Eigner? Or wait, no,
Nope.
Okrim and Eigner.
Okrim and Eridu. Eigner.
Okay.
You feel the cold wind suddenly rise up in temperature. You feel this blast of warm air on your face, and as you blink to shield your eyes from it, when you open your eyes again and the wind subsides, you are standing in the middle of a swampy plain. There are trees, some of them climbing all the way up to the sky, some of them sort of hovering with their roots just gently touching the ground, and some of them look like they're moving slightly. The sky's purple, and there's an odd iridescence to segments of the sky, as if you're looking from the inside of a broken glass bauble. Ahead of you, you see a large pouch. It seems to be made out of some sort of leather. You see strips across it that look like someone's veins. And everything else appears still. There is an odd silence. You can see water lapping around your feet, but you cannot hear it at all. There is almost this deafening silence.
I walk forward and take in the scene around me and try and stay calm as much as possible, keeping on the alert for any potential dangers coming out, but I will focus on the leather bag, and I'm afraid my curiosity gets the best of me, and I shall go and open the crazy looking leather bag.
As you approach the leather bag, you find that you are now under a willow tree that you could not see before, and you can't see the bark of it. You just see the leaves everywhere, stopping you from seeing any further afield than just a few feet. The leather pouch is still there, and as you reach out towards it, it tears itself open from the inside. One long, black, segmented leg coming out and touching you in the center of the chest. What was your immediate reaction?
I mean, it wasn't coming out and like stabbing me. It was just coming out and doing that. Yep. I will kind of. I guess I'll put my arms out in a little bit of shock, but then also I guess a sign of submission, and I'll simply wait for a development.
You then stumble slightly, and Shalax reaches out an arm to grab you by the shoulder. The sounds of several bolts firing towards the ground, striking around Okrim, sort of shatter the sensation that you had before and bring you back to the world around you. You see Twin Harbors, you see Shalax, you see Okrim. Everything is just as it was before. On the ground, you see the broken vial that you dropped. Apart from that, you feel normal.
I feel normal. I don't feel like I could climb the wall right now.
You feel normal.
I feel normal? Well, what the...
Spider Eigner. Man, my response would have been like, hit it with a newspaper.
Okrim, you have managed to dodge out of the way of all but one of these bolts that manages to stick in your armor. Are you wearing quilted armor, leather armor, or no armor?
Leather armor with an AC of 10.
There we go. Leather armor. As it sticks in the leather, you note that it hasn't penetrated through at all. You easily pick it out. As you get closer and closer to this gatehouse, you hear the crossbows being reloaded. You can also hear behind the door lots of charging about and shuffling, the clanking of armor. Are you going to knock?
Yeah, oh, absolutely I'm going to knock.
As you pound on the door, there's a momentary pause. A steady, regimented clanking. And then the door begins to open inwards. Immediately you are met with a halberd swinging down to try and strike you on the head. I'll get a 14 to hit.
Oh yeah.
That is 5 damage immediately. As you step backwards, it slices just in front of you. It's mostly the shock of the thing that gets you.
Right.
But as the doors swing open wider, you see that this was not the only halberd blade ready to swing. Ahead you is just a sea of 4'8" drow, dressed to the nines in armor, wielding long weapons, ready to fight. Eigner, Okrim, you are now in combat.
Great.
Just before we get into that combat, however, Eridu, I've just realised his image is frozen into the side. Are we there, Asa? Or no?
Well,
in that case, combat.
In that case, combat.
Yeah, in that case, combat.
Okay. Okrim, Eigner, what actions are we taking?
Yeah. So,
Eigner is going to... He still kind of believes that for whatever reason he should be able to climb the wall. He wants to go take out the crossbowman. That was the whole idea that he drank the potion for. He wants to climb up that wall. So he's going to use his movement to attempt that, to try and get over there. And,
okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. No like actual combat actions quite yet. I will shout some orders to Shalax on my way out.
Cool. And Okrim, your plans?
I mean, it's an oldie but a goodie. Dissonant whispers. Right on the guy right in front of me.
All right.
And let's see. Yeah, I'm going to do that at 2nd level.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm going to do that at 2nd level.
Okay.
And then can I do... No, because I can't do anything else because I don't have... Yeah, so that's it. Because that is a... Yeah, action.
Everyone roll for initiative.
I got a 10.
I got a 13.
Right. Eigner.
Mm-hmm.
You run towards the walls of the city. You reach the walls of the city, and there's a moment of hesitation where you realize that bodies are not meant to walk up walls. And so, leaning back as you do to try and start running up this wall, there's a moment of panic where you feel yourself falling towards the ground. And then you keep going up. You're now running up the side of this wall.
Yeah.
Ace's phone just died, yes.
Yeah.
Not only do you begin running up this wall, but you feel yourself running faster than you normally would.
Hell yeah, dude.
Just make a note somewhere that your speed is now 40 feet as opposed to 30.
Like, temporarily? Or...
We'll see.
Okay, I'll just put it right down here.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool, dude. Okay. I've been blessed by the spider gods. Okay.
You managed to race up there. As you're racing up, you shout to Shalax.
Oh, I say, it's time to light it up, and we need as much backup as we can get right now. And maybe
You've never seen a Dragonborn grin so wide.
and maybe I'll go, like, kind of turn my head in the direction on my way out. I'll turn my head in the direction of where Valdorn was, and I'll shout some kind of really intense dwarven word, you know, like whatever battle cry it is that they say when they're about to charge, or like form up or hold the line or something, like really battle ready like that. I'll shout it as loud as I can in his direction.
As you shout out the dwarven word that in the common tongue translates to a combination of charge, surprise, and attack,
Mm-hmm.
You hear the response, Karoth!
Karoth! Hell yeah, I'm loving this.
And
right
you hear
now.
the marching feet move towards you.
Hell yeah.
Okrim.
Yeah.
So Dissonant Whispers
Uh-huh.
on
You know
the
what to do.
halberd man in front of you.
Yep. You know what to do.
Yep. Helps if it stays on the table. 13. What's your DC again?
14.
Oh!
Oh,
I thought I just made it.
Damn.
no, you did not.
Nuh-uh.
Okay. So that is, hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, it's 46, and he's gonna run like a motherfucker. He's gonna use his reaction and run like a motherfucker.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's not too bad. 13 damage.
13? Nice. Just okay. So, yeah, as you see him swing down after striking at you, he pulls his halberd up into a striking position, and as you see him take a step forward, you begin your Dissonant Whispers. He releases the halberd with one hand, starts touching his face. He looks up at you, his eyes then begin to look bloodshot, and he drops the halberd entirely to the ground and bolts through the crowd of men behind him. He is pushing and shoving his allies out of the way, and you see the rest of them just sort of shifting out of the way and then getting back into position, halberds at the ready. Any movement at all?
God, really? Yeah, I had better. I had better. Oh yeah. No, they're all within. I can't.
You can do a disengage action. Or wait, no, it's an
action. No, I'm not a rogue, good sir.
Okay, yeah, that's true. So you're screwed.
Yeah, I can't.
Do you want to draw some weapons?
Yeah, there's no point. Okay.
So it's at this point that approaching a window 1 floor up in the gatehouse, Jolin pushes aside one of the drow and pulls Emily to the window. And he draws the knife slightly against her neck, drawing just a drop of blood. And he yells out, "Y'all should have stopped and walked away." This, the men down on the ground stride forward and swing with their halberds at Okrim.
This is not gonna be pleasant.
Nah. It's okay, you got like healing hands, you're celestial, you're like, oh, I'll heal myself, I'm good, I'm fine. Yeah.
So at this, because of the numbers involved, I'm not going to roll attack dice for every single drow. We are going to resort to the good old Dungeon Master's Guide, where we have some semblance of a mass combat system, where it's basically 5 of them equals 1
4.
hit. Is it 4?
Yeah, one of them went running and screaming.
Yes, there are dozens of them inside. They are stepping forward and able to attack.
Gotcha.
There's no shortage. No shortage of drow with halberds right now.
Right, yep. Gotcha.
So the D20 roll that they would need is between 6 and 12. So 2 attackers equals 1 hit, in fact, on that scale. And so we'll say 6 approach you, so 3 attacks hit. So as the halberds descend down upon Okrim, could have been worse. Could have been worse. That's 11 damage.
Oh, okay.
That's got off light.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
So as 6 halberds slash at Okrim, instinct takes over. He ducks and dives, dodges out of the way of a few of them. But unfortunately, a few blades strike against his legs and arms, drawing blood. The rest of the halberd wielders pile out of the gatehouse past Okrim, behind their allies, so as not to draw attacks of opportunity. And they pile out into the streets. They are moving out to attack anyone. Now, the children have gone. They have been rid from the street at this point.
I would assume.
The only ones in the street are a couple of Lucky Lou stragglers, civilians, and the rebels. That's the only ones in the street right now. And they are piling out aggressively and looking like they're about to attack everyone. It's at this point that Shalax sets ablaze the cart full of bales, and then he sort of pops his arms out, lifts the whole thing up, and begins running with it towards the gatehouse.
That's exactly what I wanted.
He turns his head and begins spraying the rest of his breath towards the drow. Ineffectually, he's getting to the end of his breath, but he is definitely attracting attention.
Oh, yeah.
And as he charges forward, a few halberds slash at him, most of the time bouncing off his scales, but one of them does manage to plunge into his shoulder, but he carries on running. It's at this point that the rest of the rebels, the humans, the drow, and the small gnome lady, she also raises her weapon along with everyone else and charges towards the drow. Okrim, Eigner, your next actions.
Okay, so have I made it to the top of the battlements, to the top of the wall yet?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll be able to be at the top of the wall now.
Okay, so in that case, I guess my objective for the next few rounds is to just like sprint over to the closest crossbowman to me, and then shield bash them off of the wall, and then sprint to the next one and shield bash them off the wall, and rinse repeat. That's kind of my plan. Yeah.
Note to self: do not put villains next to places where they could be knocked off.
Because that's officially that's like Eigner's favorite strategy is to shield bash people. It's just so much cooler than like swinging your sword. You're just like, Pah!
Okay, so that's Eigner's action. Okrim.
Okay, so I am going to, as my action, I'm going to dodge.
Okay.
And as my bonus action, I am going to Healing Word myself. And I'm sorry that, like, I'm not doing anything. One, I have to rejigger what Okrim's new sense of bardicness is.
I mean,
and two, my anxiety is like through the roof. I can't think of it. Like I can't think today.
If I may say one thing about your turn, Okrim,
yeah,
you should be able to see that perhaps there's a flaming cart coming your way.
Right. But Okrim is also in attack of opportunity mode.
Yeah.
For 6 people.
For sure. But, I mean, you can use your action to disengage, and you can move out of the way of the flaming cart that's about to run into the giant crowd of drow.
Oh, is that where it's headed?
Yeah. It's heading toward the gatehouse where you are.
Okay,
yes.
Then yeah, that would clearly be a much better choice, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
So
it's
now
going.
It all lands on who wins the initiative, Shalax or Okrim.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
So roll for initiative.
Oh man, I got an 18.
Nice.
Cool.
So we've got 18. Okrim.
5.
Wow. Let's do it.
So
this is great.
This
is great.
I forgot about disengage. That could have saved me the last turn.
Eigner first. So
yeah.
you see that there are 3 crossbowmen on your part of the wall right now.
Okay.
And taking out each one of them would take you closer to the central gatehouse.
Okay, which there might be some kind of entrance from the top to be able to get down there. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool.
Yep.
Okay, so in that case, I'm going to use my move to get adjacent to the first one. And I'm feeling saucy. I might just use my inspiration right away because I really want to get a good start on this thing. So
okay.
I'm going to make a strength athletics check opposed by his, I guess, their strength athletics or their dexterity acrobatics thing.
That is correct.
Yep. And
got a 13.
Oh my goodness, that's a 24. Oh my gosh. So I'm assuming that he's like right next to the wall. I'd push him 5 feet.
Oh yeah, he's there with his crossbow trained down on the ground.
Oh yeah,
so...
he doesn't even see me coming. So he's like, bah! Bah! Get out of here.
Tumbles over the wall. Gives the Wilhelm scream as he tumbles down the ground. And you still have enough movement to move up to the next one.
Okay, then I'll action surge and I'll try and do it again.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you have 2 attacks by now?
No, I'm only level 3. Only level 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's a 23 against that next one.
And I rolled a 3.
Oh, oh, this is too easy. This is too easy. 2 in 1 turn. Oh, I'm such a badass.
The third one
this is great.
looks over his shoulder and sees you fast approaching.
Yeah.
And his eyes strain. His mask stretches as if his mouth is agape inside. And it's at this point that you realize that you're not feeling the cold as much as you were, especially in your lower half. That's nowhere near as cold as it was.
Uh-oh. What happened to me? Am I having a little bit of Franz Kafka moment? Is that what's going on?
Shalax barrels towards this crowd of drow. Okrim manages to spot him and hear him coming. And Shalax, seeing Okrim, tries to wheel around him. Unfortunately, missing the crowd of drow, but drawing their attacks. They manage to strike at him. And they manage to strike at his side and his arms, managing to draw blood, cutting through his scales and pulling their halberds back, getting a noticeable scream from Shalax as he tries to charge forward. He just doesn't have the strength anymore, and he pushes the cart the rest of the way into the gatehouse and collapses down onto one knee. He then stops and looks up at Okrim with a sorrowful look in his eyes as more of the drow surround him. They then raise their halberds and strike down, ending his life.
Shalax, no! He was so brave.
The rest of them surrounding Okrim swing their halberds. Again, we'll have 6 of them on him. I'm going to actually roll for these 6 just in quick succession, because 3 automatic hits. That was an 18, that's a hit. That's a 15, that's a hit. That's a 16, that's a hit. So, yeah. Let's go back to the 3 hits. 3 hits. Yeah, 3 hits. We'll stop there.
That's fine.
13, 17 points of damage. And just as they begin striking you down, you look up and you see Jolin, and he has now pulled on Emily's head to pull it back, and is now pulling the knife deeper across her throat as he stares at you.
Well, as he does that, I just drop to the ground because I'm unconscious.
Wow, dude, it's a Shakespearean ending to this episode. Everyone dies except for Eigner. except for Eigner, because he's
so far, yeah,
a badass.
Well, the dwarves are coming on their way, so
yeah.
I still have death saving throws.
Yes,
for sure.
You do.
And so does Emily. Maybe.
Eigner, Okrim, that was that round.
I still have a death saving throw. Hold on.
Oh yes, because it's now your turn.
His turn.
Yes.
Correct.
5.
Okay, 11. So I saved once.
Excellent. Eigner, Okrim. Okrim's action for the next turn is to try and not die.
Yeah.
Correct.
And Eigner, you have. Oh, my apologies. I entirely forgot about the crossbowman on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Does a 17 hit, Eigner?
No.
Oh, no. He fires a crossbow at you, but fires wild, and you see that his hands are trembling as he tries to reload the crossbow. He's not even looking at the crossbow. His eyes are locked and fixed on you. What is your action going to be for this turn?
Well, I'm a bowling ball that's rolling forward, and you can't change my path. I'm going to charge up to him and shield bash him off the wall. And then head toward the gatehouse and try and find some way of getting down where the action is happening, and hopefully try and, like, I don't know, flank him. The doors will be coming from there, and I'll be coming from, like, under here, like, I don't know.
Everyone roll for initiative. Okrim as well. See, like, whereabouts you make the saving throw.
I get a 9.
9, 8, and 4 for me. Okay. All rolling lows. Okay, so Eigner first, then Okrim.
Killing it. Okay, so I move up.
Yeah,
to
but I'm
him.
about to die in 2 seconds, so.
I move up to him and I get a 15 on my athletics check.
17 on his acrobatics. So as his eyes are fixed on you, and as you approach him, you notice that you're looming a little taller. He then ducks to the side as you try to bash him away. And as he does so, he finally clicks the bolt in and raises it up, pointing towards you.
Bring it.
Okrim, death saving throw.
14.
Right.
Not that it matters, because, I mean, logically speaking, there's death.
Another firing of the bolt as he backs away and hits up against the wall behind him.
Mm-hmm.
The bolt flies wild again, and you see that he is looking up at you.
Mm-hmm.
Human, you are taller than the average drow.
Sure.
But then you see his eyes dash towards the door to the gatehouse, and he tries to rush past you to get it. You get an attack opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if I hit him, I stop him, which I definitely hit him because I rolled a natural 17. That's like 23 to AC. Damage is 10 damage, and his speed becomes 0. He stops in his tracks because I have Sentinel.
Sweet.
Sweet feet.
So yeah, he then starts spitting this guttural noise at you, which you hear and understand.
Well, that's
You
weird.
hear him say, "No, for the love of all the gods, no."
If I speak, will I find that I'm speaking in that tongue?
Do you want to speak to him?
I will speak to him and I will say, none of the gods can save you.
As you begin speaking, you feel your throat tighten and your lips purse as you almost cough up the words in this guttural tongue that you've never spoken before, but find yourself fluent in now.
That's intense, dude. That's really intense.
And now, he will try to make... no, he won't try to make another run for it. That was on his initiative. Everyone else is going to try and stab rebels. So...
Have the dwarves arrived at this point?
16 now. No, 16. 13 now. The dwarves will be arriving next... is this the 4th round?
I kind of lost track.
I
think
this
it's
is
only
third.
second,
Yeah.
third.
This
round.
is third round, so next round.
This
yeah.
is third round. Next round, 4th round.
Okay.
So yes, they will arrive next round. Yes. So let's see what happens to the rebels. Okay. Human, and no. So, you see the drow drive forwards, start attacking the rebels drawing their weapons, charging the drow, and fighting them back. The gnome dives underneath one of their halberds and swings up with her longsword, striking one of them in the chest, pulling it out, and kicking another one in the shins, forcing him down to the ground, at which point the other drow that was on the rebel side leaps up and stabs 2 daggers into the back of this drow's neck, pulls them out again. That's 2 drow down.
Wow.
The rest of them are fighting at a stalemate, striking at each other, clashing blades, clashing against armor, not really making much in the way of headway. Next round.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
What? Kill?
I'm sorry,
kill,
you have
kill
to do it.
Okrim?
We'll just
You
push
have
this guy off.
I don't want to, but you have to. I died in front of 6 people. I went down in front of 6 drow.
You did go down in front of 6 drow. They have moved on to go and attack other people.
Because they have a lot more threats right now. You know?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Yep.
No, don't worry. You're gonna die. No, I mean, like, don't worry. You're gonna roll 1 on your next 2 death saving throws. Like, don't worry.
So, next round, Okrim's going to be making a death saving throw, and Eigner.
I'll be using my sword and just trying to slash down this silly little drow in front of me and advance to the gatehouse.
All right, everyone roll for initiative.
I got a 18.
Okay.
11.
Is it a short sword you're using, Eigner, or a long sword?
Oh, it's a long sword, definitely.
Long sword. Sorry, what did you get, Okrim?
11.
11.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, Eigner, you are first.
Bam! I get a... Ah, gosh, is that only a... No, I get the +1 because I'm using Talon's Blade. So that's a 14 versus his AC.
That is a hit.
Okay, how does 8 damage do him? He's up to, like, 18
That is a hit.
damage. He has
yes, he is downed. So that's a killing shot. How would you like the killing shot to go?
Straight decapitation, I guess. I've got, because I'm so high up, you know, it's like if I'm slashing down, probably just gonna chop his head off or something.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Bam. And then I go to the gatehouse. I have 40 feet of movement. If there's a door, then I'm just gonna try and bust through it instead of trying to use some action to like open it. I'm probably just gonna try and burst through that shit.
I'll allow you to make an athletics check as part of your movement to just try and charge through.
Charge! That's a 21.
Oh, shit, yeah. The thin wooden doors are designed purely to keep the wind out and nothing more in this gatehouse. So you manage to crash through immediately. As you do so, you find that the timbers left at the bottom prove no obstacle for you and just sort of glide over them. Inside, you see 4 drow, one of which is Jolin at the window with the blade to Emily's throat, cutting her. The 3 not currently cutting people up turn to look at you and again give out screams. One of them saying, again in this guttural tongue, the gods have cursed us.
Yes, they have. I mean, maybe I'll say that. I'll do another like, saying something intimidating in that. Yeah, I will say the gods have come for revenge.
I swear to God, you had better save Emily because you cursed me.
Who, me?
Yeah, you know why?
What? How did I do that?
Guess what I rolled?
A 1? Oh shit! I'm just making it more exciting.
Well,
just making it.
I'm 2-2.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not done yet.
But I'm 2-2. I hate you so much right now. I'm not superstitious at all, but that one was kind of like
very superstitious.
Okay, I just wanted you to know
13-month-old baby.
Okay.
You hear the roar of the dwarves storming down the street. You hear the clash of blades. You hear more shouts and screams in Dwarven, in this drow tongue. You hear the rebels shouting out in common. They are unsure what's going on. They weren't sure about the dwarves, and so are now retreating. At least that's what you can tell from their shouts. They're just sort of leaving the drow and the dwarves to this. Shalax, in his bloody state, having been struck down, musters the strength to reach towards Okrim and pull himself up towards him. And he rests one hand on Okrim's shoulder, which Okrim can feel just the periphery of his awareness. And he begins talking, but Okrim cannot make out what he's saying. What's everyone doing for the next round? Asa!
What up, dude?
Oh, there we go.
There he is.
Okay.
So for the next round,
Okrim's about to die.
Okrim's about to die. That's what he's doing.
Oh, I've been paying attention.
For me, I'm gonna try and.
My anxiety's so amped up right now.
I'm gonna try and wrangle together some kind of like intimidation. Or no, it's more like I'm gonna go try and engage Jolin directly. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Do me a favor and kill him.
Yeah.
If Okrim dies, do me a favor and at least kill him.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go try and do some like really precise surgical strike where I just go like stab him directly in his like knife arm or something like that, right in his shoulder of his knife arm, and just make him like drop the knife.
Brilliant. Okay. So for that, just give me an attack roll when we roll for initiative.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the process.
Oh.
Okrim's going to make a death saving throw. So everyone roll for initiative.
I rolled abysmally. I do not get to go first. I have a 2 total initiative.
Oh, jeez. Right, yeah, that's worse than me.
Yeah.
I got a 15. But I'm not anywhere near this combat.
Okrim, what was your initiative?
17.
17. Okay, so you get to go first. Make your death saving throw.
Okay, I'm sorry. The anxiety is...
It's so real right now.
Yeah, it's so real.
It's so real.
Oh my god. I should go take a Xanax after this, I swear to god.
Oh my god.
I have actual anxiety though, so
Okay.
in all fairness. 8.
Oh! Ow! Ow!
Oh my god!
Shit. Wow.
That was the third one, right?
That was the third
one,
one.
dude.
Oh man.
That was the third one.
Okrim's
Oh,
eyes
no.
open as he sees Shalax talking to him, but can't make out the words. As he turns his head to look up at the sky, he briefly sees the window where Emily is. And just as he sees Emily, the knife coming across her throat, he then sees Emily pull her arm up and elbow him in the chest. And he releases his grip on her, but still has his blade. Just
Listen
before
what she said.
Okrim's eyes turn black, Eigner, make this attack roll.
Oh man. Here goes nothing.
Oh god, that sucks.
Oh.
Oh.
Only a 10 to his... No, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting the extra +1. It's only an 11 to his AC.
You notice that Jolin is not wearing any better armor than the rest of the drow.
Mm-hmm.
Is this an
That's a
opportunity for you
hit.
to be using your...
Oh.
is it?
Well,
And I was
okay.
going to say, if you still had your inspiration, this would be the time to use it.
Oh, no, I used it really early, like I always do. Use it on something that's really kind
You
of
do
inconsequential.
0 damage, but instead disarm him. So
Sick.
we can still narrate it as you stab him into the thing,
Yeah.
but so yeah, you stab him into the shoulder. He drops the knife,
Uh-huh.
and Okrim sees Eigner loom over Jolin, stab him in the shoulder just as Emily elbows him in the chest, and the knife drops, and Emily spins around and headbutts him, just as Okrim's eyes then dart up to the sky, and light envelops everything he sees.
In all fairness, she is a monk.
Yeah.
Oh god, that hurts so much. Okay, at least she's safe.
Don't worry. You know,
I think I'm hearing something...
Eridu will keep her warm in those cold, lonely nights.
I think I'm hearing something in the background. Are we getting some kind of like...
You might
feedback
be
or
hearing
something?
our stream, actually,
Yeah.
in the background. I'll turn it down.
Okay.
Okay. Right. We are going to just slightly step away from Eigner at the moment and skip to Eridu to sort out what's happening on that end of things. Now that this bombshell has happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel fully comfortable with everything that's just happened, to be fair, so I need a bit of a palate cleanser.
Hey, yeah,
Eridu.
for sure.
It happens. That's why.
And yeah, I know. Last thing, like I'm comfortable with the fact that it's happened, but it's still It's yeah. It was tense. I'm just yeah.
Yeah,
Eridu.
it's a great narrative. I love it. It's a great narrative. It was just like,
Yeah.
you know.
It is. I'm really excited to have the next session we play be centralized around Okrim's funeral because I think that is like a great starting spot.
Yeah.
I'm a little sad I'm gonna miss next session, but
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna be a cool place to be.
Yeah, actually, we got to talk about that. I goofed up and I scheduled an appointment for next week, so.
Oh,
but it's okay
well,
because I'll
just a talking thing next time then.
Yeah, we can do a talking thing.
That'll work perfectly. Okay, so Eridu, he is in the back of the wagon with the chest, the big chest, and the other drow riding the thing. So, real quick thought. I sent you in the message. I don't think we talked too much about the drow who fought him, but I thought it would be fitting if this drow was female, mostly because there's been an abundance of not female drow. Was there a reason for that? Or was it just...
there was a reason for the army to be majoritarily male because the drows like supposed to be sort of matriarchal society. This is basically like the working class. Let's send them out to do the fighting and dying.
I figured this character might be more important, but I mean, male, female doesn't matter. I just thought it'd be interesting to be female, just because we have.
Well, I suppose the one that's working for the rebels could very easily be a female. Yeah.
Oh, I meant the one that I tackled out of the.
Oh yes. I like the idea of her being a female, actually.
And then I sent you information about her.
Cool.
Because I also kind of figured if she's higher up in military stuff, there's a very good chance that her and Eridu have a history.
I like that.
We'll talk about that more later on.
Yes, so you are in
the
wagon.
I like the idea of you making her this adversarial character who's like...
Oh, she's already an adversarial character on many different levels, so...
Alright.
So, Eridu, back of the wagon, is still rolling towards this crossroads. You are alone with the chest for a moment.
I'm going to open it up and see what's inside. Throw caution to the wind and grab that thing like the Ark of the Covenant and hope my face doesn't get melted off.
The lid is heavy, but you're able to move it. Inside, you see there is a layer of velvet, and sunken down into the center of this is a metal orb. Cut into the side of it, there seems to be arms on the sides. Cut into the side of the metal, you see this sort of inlaid pearl. And there's carvings, engravings on these arms. Seem to be in a very archaic script. It's writing of some sort. But other than that, it seems to be a very ordinary, if beautiful, object. The metal looks gold-ish, but certainly more of a copper coloration, but richer. It's been varnished at least.
Would I have any cause to know what this thing is? Can I make some kind of rule on it?
You can make either a history or arcana check. If you're proficient in either. If you're not proficient in either, then I would lean more towards history.
I'm proficient in history. I'm going to roll that. I rolled a fucking 1. It was rolling nicely, hit the cord from my phone charger, rolled onto a 1.
Wow.
As you lean in close to get as you lean in close to get a better look, see if you can work out maybe sort of the iconography, or just get a better sense of the shape of this thing. If you were to lift it up, the wagon hits a bump, and you rock slightly, and then the wagon comes to a stop, and you hear a shout from Vorik that they've arrived.
Okay. I'm going to just lift this heavy object, or this object out of the trunk or chest, because I'm assuming it's going to be lighter to carry by itself than it is inside the chest.
Give me a wisdom
doing that.
saving throw.
Okay, I will do that. Wisdom is not one of my super rolls.
Wait, but
So that's a 19.
Yeah, you're supposed to be wise, and
Sweet.
you're supposed to have... Proficiency in saving throws. With that.
Oh, your thing's up,
Oh.
Kyle.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. I think you did fine, Asa. I think you're okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I pick it up out of the thing and close the chest, and then leave the wagon.
As you pick it up, you feel a sense rush within you, which feels very similar to when you are focusing your Kai. But other than that, you don't feel anything wrong, so you pick it up and walk out.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while for everyone else to catch up, but catch ups they do. As they do, one of the halflings lets you know that there was a sound of battle as they were running away from the city. Not quite sure what's going on, but they think the distraction's going off.
Oh, yes. Well, we have the orb, so perhaps we should get back to our hideout and get this thing secure somewhere. It does not look safe.
They
That
all
was
look
it.
around and realize that they're in not friendly territory, and that
Right.
Drow
Because
could
we
very
don't
easily
know
be
side.
approaching. And then one of the halflings suggests that he goes out and scouts.
Yes, that is a good idea. Do we know this area well? Is there safer zones more immediately nearby, or do we head back towards the harbor?
Most of the group suggests that you try and head back to Twin Harbors, because that's where the majority of friendly people would be. Your experience of this area, Eridu, suggests that there's suddenly a few smaller towns that would offer safe harbor, but if you were to be discovered by any of the Drow military, they wouldn't offer much in the way of protection.
Yeah. Okay. I want to find a reasonably safe place to stash this for now, because I'm worried about if we get apprehended. Okay, so how many of us are there total? There are 6?
Yes, 6 in total. You've got 5 allies here. You do recall that there is a town just to the north that has a cairn. And inside this cairn, they bury the honored dead, warriors. Most of them are buried with a lot of the arms and armor in honor of them. Statues are erected for them as well. This is somewhere that is kept under close watch and guard by the townspeople, and they were friendly to you once upon a time. They would probably allow you to go in and... Yes. So
Okay.
you'd probably be able to stash it in one of these tombs.
Okay, so I've got 2 humans, I've got the drow, I've got a halfling, and whom else?
So 2 humans, 2 halflings, and the drow.
2 halflings and drow. Okay. I'm going to have one of the halflings, the one that's offering to scout, come with me. I'd like him to scout, and the 2 of us are going to go to this town. I'd like the 2 humans and the drow to all, and the other halfling to all head back. I want one of them to scout, and then the other, like, humans to protect, like, to travel with the drow to kind of protect him, because he seems a little on the skittish side, and he's done a good job, and I really would like to see him get back to the city safe. But I want them to get back to the city. Let our allies know we have the artifact. We'll just call it the artifact. We have the thing, and we have it stashed away somewhere safe. And if we don't return, don't come looking for us.
All right.
And then me and the halfling are head back to that little town. Actually, I want to split them in 2 groups of 3. I want to take one of the humans with me. That way I've got that extra protection while I'm carrying this thing. So each group should be 1 scout and 2 people. Scout traveling.
Yeah. Josh, would you mind... did you say you've got stats for Emily?
What?
Yeah.
You've got stats
Yes.
for Emily.
Yes. I created Emily, correct.
if you could sort of have those on hand.
I'm pulling them up in right
now. So we'll skip to Eigner and Emily. So you've just taken Jolin's weapon arm out. The other drow are now descending the steps quickly to help deal with the onslaught of these dwarves. You are alone with Jolin in the guard tower.
Okay.
So for the moment, we won't go with initiative. We'll just deal with the situation at hand. Emily picks up the dagger and now has it. And at this point, we'll hand Emily over to Josh.
Okay. Dagger, you say, right? Because yes. I'm assuming. Well, it doesn't actually. She probably wouldn't pick up the dagger. Frankly, no? She's a monk.
But she would want to keep. But she'd want to keep the dagger away from Jolin, though.
True. So yeah, she could. Yeah, she would pick up the dagger to do that. That's very true. Valid point. Okay, so yeah, then she'll pick it up and then she'll. I mean, everything's been knocked away. She's gonna go ham. So all attacks all the time, unarmed strikes, just because she doesn't have her any of her weapons. It clearly would have been taken away from her. So
yeah. In that case, if the option is to immediately attack, then yes, we will go into initiative. Emily's going. I'm assuming she saw her fiance die.
She definitely saw her fiance die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the case, and I'm assuming, I mean, the fact that she now is free and he's been holding a knife to her throat, which she hates being powerless like that to begin with, and she's been powerless for hours, and then she just watched her fiance die. There's no conversation.
Okay. So what is Eigner's action going to be this turn?
He is simply going to keep attacking Jolin. I think he's also in that mode. I don't know exactly what's going on with his mental state right now because he's in this crazy adrenaline rush of combat, and he hasn't even stopped to think about what crazy shit must have happened to his body. So he's just like a wrecking ball, man. He's just gonna keep on doing that thing and attacking, and then try and take stock of what happened after the battle.
Right.
Yeah.
So, everyone roll for initiative.
I got 2. Very last.
At 20.
A little 2.
Nice. Okay, so
24 because nat 20s don't do anything, but
yeah. Okay, so it's Emily, Jolin, Eigner.
Would you say I'm adjacent to Jolin as well as Emily?
Yes. Okay. So all attacks with advantage.
Yeah, well, there's that as well. But then if he attacks Emily, I get to do a protection thing with my shield. And yeah, I get to do all sorts of cool stuff when I'm like working close with an ally like that.
Sweet. Emily.
Okay.
Go nuts.
Emily goes first. So attack number 1 is, hold on one second, 18.
That hits.
Okay. I'm just going to do all 3 at once, and I'll just roll 3d4.
His armor class is bang on 11, by the way. So.
12. That's a 6 plus 6, so nat 1. So she's gonna roll 2d4 plus 8. So 4, 12 total.
12 total damage.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Amy unleashes a flurry of blows at her former captor, smacking him in the face, knocking one way, the other. His hair starting to mat into his face with the blood that's starting to spill. And you notice that drow blood isn't the same as most elf blood. It's a little thicker, a little more of a deep scarlet. Starts dyeing his white hair. Next we have Jolin himself. Then Eigner, you got the 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've noted that down correctly. Good. Okay. So he's stuck between the 2 of you. Bolting. Continuing with his dash action.
Well, attack of opportunity though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a disengage. I should have decided on disengage.
I mean, is it
Attacks of opportunity.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, that's definitely a hit with a 23 total.
19.
2 hits.
Maximum damage. I get 14 damage, and his speed becomes 0.
6.
6 damage. That's 12,
Yeah.
18. 32. He's getting whittled away. So he basically takes almost like a 5-foot step and then is stopped still by Eigner. And of course, Emily wailing on him from behind. And Eigner, you now get your action because that was your reaction.
Yes.
Slam your sword into the ground in front of him, and then as you pulled it up, whack him in the face.
Yeah.
Now you get to attack properly with your longsword.
That is a 19 versus his AC. And
hits.
That is 9 damage.
So you manage to draw a cut against him. He tries to leap to the side, and you manage to draw a gash right across the middle of his chest. Clutches it, stares at you, and then mutters under his breath in the guttural tongue, "You accursed beast." Why is he talking with a British accent when he's talking in his native tongue? That's a weird thing. For a moment there, I forgot. But yes, he calls you an accursed beast.
And
so that was your round.
I'll just take it.
Yeah. What actions are we taking next? Jolin is still active. The dwarves have now pushed against the drow and they're starting to retreat back into the bottom floor of the gatehouse. The dwarves are there just en masse. There are at least tripling the numbers of the drow.
I'm gonna
keep, blows.
Yeah, we're gonna keep on wailing. We keep on wailing
attacking
on
and
him.
attacking. All right. Roll for initiative.
Just like tears are going.
I got 17.
Hold on. 21. She hits like a beast.
What was yours again, Eigner? Sorry.
17.
17. And I got 15. So everyone goes before Jolin. Emily.
Okay. So 22.
Hits.
This one's gonna miss. It's 9.
Yeah, that misses.
25.
2 hits.
Okay.
Damage. He's got 16 points left.
5 plus 8 is
13.
13. Thank you.
Right, Eigner.
All right, I'm trying to think of something cool to say to him, but I don't know. I think I already used all my cool undercommon phrases already. I'll just say something like, "You never stood a chance, Jolin." And that is going to be 23 to AC, maximum damage of 14 damage. No, I'm sorry, it's 12? I gotta check the numbers again.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's 12. But yeah.
Yeah,
it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, your bonus damage was going to kill him.
Yeah, for sure.
As you spit your words to him, he turns, gets smacked in the face by Emily, smacked in the face on the other side, and as he's turning back towards you to utter a retort, he's about to say something as you just drive your longsword into him.
Damn. So, after he falls...
He's dead.
He's dead, yeah.
Well, yeah.
After he falls, I'm going to use my movement to... so with the construction of this room, is there, like, stairs that go down to the lower level?
There are, yes. So in the corner, there's a set of spiral stairs. Constructed out of stone.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to take up a post right in front of those stairs and just hold it off as a choke point if any more drow come up.
You are noticing some smoke begin to rise out of the stairwell.
Oh, dear. Well, in that case, I'll try and speak common instead of whatever the hell I have been speaking and say, Emily, maybe we should get out of here.
Okay.
Your voice is a little raspier than it has been in the past. Emily, you see the upper body of Eigner.
Yeah.
You see that he seems to be riding on some insect that's incredibly large.
Franz Kafka, I knew it.
You know, right?
Knew
Kafka-esque. So she's disturbed, but right now that's not her priority.
Hi. Come say hello.
Like, she's clearly gonna notice and stare, but now her priority is...
Get your mom to come say hi to me.
Yeah, look at the camera. Hi.
Terry, I don't see you. Because I'm on... not Kyle. Hey.
Yeah. That's how, guys.
I'll see you next weekend or the weekend after that for sure.
Oh yeah. Actually, she can't hear you because it's through my headphones.
Well, you're gonna have to tell her what I'm saying.
He'll see you soon. That's what he said.
Yes, you will.
Absolutely.
Bye, guys. Have fun.
Will do. We're just
Bye.
Outside.
Yeah. Just having a good time.
Okay, so yeah,
Okay, great.
so
Great.
I don't know if we're still in initiative, but
No, we're not in an initiative now.
okay,
combat's
so
ended. The drow are dying.
Yeah, the drow are dying. Okay, so she's clearly going to go downstairs where Okrim's body is and see if he's at least not on fire, because he's clearly dead. And then if his body is in any kind of danger, she's going to take him back. If there is no danger, she's going to just fall on him and just lose it.
The stairs are filling with smoke, and at the bottom of the stairs there is a combination of piles of dead drow, still fighting drow, and dwarves pressing against the drow. It looks to be impossible to get through this unscathed. However, there are windows, and you have an Eigner.
Yep.
Oh, right.
As was once said about me, you know, when all else fails, just have an Eigner.
Having an
Could I do basically ready, like, do a dodge action and basically run my way through everyone, and then step of the wind or whatever, vice versa, back and get Okrim out of
So Okrim's on the ground in front of the gatehouse. He wasn't dragged into it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking in the terms of, is his body in danger of being burned or stepped on or stabbed or whatever, like any kind of damage to his dead body.
Yeah, it looks like the dwarves are trying to give a bit of a wide berth, but in the combat, occasionally their feet are falling a bit close to him and Shalax.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So she's going in. So run or dodge action, run, grab him, step of the wind, run.
Okay. As she does so, running away from the guardhouse, like into the streets, away
somewhere
from
where there is absolute safety. Like, it doesn't matter where. It doesn't, as long as she can cover his body and stop him. Like, she'll take a hit as long as he's not.
Eigner will see Emily dash down the stairs, rush through flames, drow, and dwarven battle axes swinging around. She just seems to dance on top of their heads, diving through them, and dashes towards Okrim's body. She gathers him up and runs up the streets. As she does so, reaching the top of a hill, she sees the river that splits Twin Harbors. And at the south end, near the mouth of the river, approaching up through choppy, stormy seas, she sees the tranquility. Seems her message eventually got to them.
Whoa.
They're still some distance away, but they're on their way.
Okay, so so she can see the tranquility, though.
She can see the tranquility.
Right.
At this point,
so she's going. Oh man. Okay. Well, it's just the end of the turn, if you will.
Eigner.
Mm-hmm.
As the battle is beginning to die down, there's not a lot of combat to get on with. How do you want to escape from the guardhouse?
Honestly, it seems like Emily can take care of herself, and she's got her whole mission. I think I'm just gonna come out the way that I came, out back through the wall, through the on the battlements, and I'm confident that I can climb to wherever it is that I need to climb to. Yeah.
You seem to just effortlessly be able to climb everywhere.
Yeah. I'm into it.
Eridu approaches the town as dusk begins to settle.
So, real quick, did I hear right that Eigner has like half of a spider body?
I'm like a spider centaur, Asa.
Totally a freaking dryad.
I'm total.
Drider.
Yeah. No, it's Drider.
Yeah.
I turn into a Drider. That's crazy.
I'm sure Greater Restoration is fine.
Actually, I think I'm fine with the way I am. It's like it's not a phase, Mom. I'm really a Drider.
You also make like a really good mount. One of us could ride you.
That could get a little kinky.
Get an abdomen harness.
Right.
All right, so I'm approaching the town as dusk.
Yes. Now, a combination of the time and also the fact that everything is starting to reach its crescendo point. I'm afraid that the majority is going to be me talking at you for the next couple of minutes. But
that's fine. Yeah, you can summarize how this goes pretty quick.
But the occasional bit of character input is welcome.
For sure.
I think you know where I'm headed, so you're fine.
Yeah, you're headed to death. Oh wait, you're already there.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, because if I'm taking on Emily, she's headed towards the tranquility.
Eridu meets up with one of his former contacts, who leads him to this cairn, and you find the tomb of a family that you had once performed a service for, but unfortunately tragedy eventually came to claim them. And you managed to successfully stash the orb there, somewhere that the drow are not likely to come looking for it at any rate. Especially if it's an artifact as powerful as is being claimed, it'll probably be assumed that it'll be taken by a force to be used, as much as the drow feared it would be. So this seems to be as safe as place as any. You're given food and lodging, and in the following morning, you are given the 2 fastest steeds that they can muster in the town, along with a mule.
3.
Yes. So there are 3 of you. The halfling says that he can, in fact, ride alongside the human.
Okay.
Along with the human on the same horse, and shouldn't cause too much of a problem. The mule is then packed with extra food for your journey back to Twin Harbors. As you travel back, you notice that there is the wagon train of drow marching back. You manage to avoid them, spotting them on their head as you do, and work your way back to Twin Harbors. You notice that the gatehouse is burned down. There are people at work trying to restore it. Eigner, Emily, the Tranquility pulls into the dock, and the winds pick up even more. The ship is rocking side to side. It seems that the weather's relentless. Part of the ship gets a little damaged as time wears on. So repair work needs to be done, so the Tranquility needs to stay docked for a little while. Okrim is taken aboard the Tranquility. Before Eigner can join the Tranquility and Okrim and Emily, he is taken aside by Valdorn, who says that he's sorry for the loss of so many lives. He points to the body of Shalax on the ground, but then asks that perhaps it would be best, for the sake of the men and women of the Dwarven army, men in the general sense, for the sake of the army, that you make yourself scarce. They seem to be taken quite aback by your new lower back.
Yeah.
Looking down, the calm settling in, you see that you now have the lower body of a giant spider.
That's insane.
You now have, in addition to the languages that you knew, you now have Undercommon. Your speed is now 40 feet. When this potion will wear off, you don't know.
It's hard to say. Yeah, well, in that case, Eigner will be... I mean, he doesn't really get a chance to say goodbye to Okrim, which is unfortunate, but it's just the circumstance that he's in. And he doesn't even get to say, like, anything to Eridu. Eigner is just going to leave as quietly and as quickly as he can, and he's going to retreat to his wilderness abode and try and get some food and try and get some rest and see if this thing is going to wear off anytime soon. And maybe he'll practice his undercommon, you know, like.
And before we fully wrap up, Okrim finds himself lying on a bed of feathers, pitch black. Around him is nothing but darkness. And he hears a raspy voice begin to say his name over and over again. And then stepping into the light that's around him, but from where he can't see. Ahead of him is a beautiful woman, decked in feathers. And she reaches out a hand. And we'll end the session there.
Wow. Okay, you've just watched the thrilling conclusion of Episode 2, The Shadow of Peril. I don't think any of us were expecting the enormously traumatic event of Okrim
Such
being
a perilous shadow,
stabbed.
man.
Yeah, it was a really perilous one. So next week, it looks like we'll be doing kind of a wrap-up discussion, kind of one of our character building, world building, collaborative events. And then the week after that, whichever day that will be, that Tuesday after the next Tuesday, I will be starting Episode 3, which I have not named quite yet, but, you know, we'll get the word out on the social media and tell you guys what's coming down.
For sure. I'll totally be, like, listening in on the stream next week. I just won't be able to be part of it. But, man, we got to unpack this episode because that shit got wild.
Shit got absolutely wild, dude.
I mean, like, the least eventful, Eridu made a enemy, if you will. Okrim is dead. I mean, like, I'm super thrilled to explore the long-standing political aspect of it.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
gonna be.
That's something Josh and I have already touched on. That this is going to be something that is, that's
If it's
something
if it's not if it's not addressed in Kyle's session, it will definitely come up in mine. And even if it is addressed in Kyle's session, I think the long-term political aspects will come up in mine, because like that is something I'm super thrilled to explore. But because I mean, you're talking about. Anyway, that's huge, man. I'm super thrilled.
Oh yeah, the narrative is going to be amazing. It's
And
yeah.
and then Eigner now being like half spider dude. Like, is that gonna stick?
I don't know, but Eigner. So his thing is like he's been searching for some kind of connection with some kind of like otherworldly being, because he lost his original connection with his original god, and he's been alone for so long. And this is like the most supernatural, like all quasi spiritual experience that he's had in years. And
now he's connected with our world equivalent of Lolth, man.
Yeah, the fact that it's coming from a spider god is really creepy, but maybe spiders aren't all that bad.
I'm curious. Like, this is definitely going to make sense to why Eigner's not around next. Next
he's got to figure some shit out.
He's got to maybe like do some web spinning, make himself a blanket or something. I mean,
that's absolutely true. He'll be able to deck out his wilderness abode with all the coolest web stuff.
Yep, all the greatest silks. Thank you for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
That was a blast.
It was a blast of an episode. That much is for sure.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch, dude, you missed out. Like, the other 8 billion people on this planet who didn't watch this episode, you guys are missing out.
Sure.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, let's try to bring that number down to only 7 billion people missing out on our game.
Definitely. Definitely. So yeah, thanks for watching. Signing off for now. Roll for mischief. We're going to be rolling next week. See you guys.